Hey babes, it's Jenni Prokopy from ChronicBabe.com, and you're here with me again for another AWAP Wednesday. If you haven't been with us before, AWAP stands for As Well As Possible. And in all things Chronic Babe, that's what I wish for you, that you are as well as possible in every moment that you can be, that you kick ass every day in spite of being sick. Each week, I answer a reader's question. So this week, the question comes from a fellow Chronic Babe, just like us, and she writes, I've recently set up my own business and now work from home, which is great and very exciting. But I was wondering whether you have any thoughts, tips, suggestions about how you manage your health whilst managing your work. Do you aim to work set days or hours, or do you have a very flexible approach and work when you can? Do you work from home, or do you try and work from other places like an office or a coffee shop? Great question. Got a bunch of answers for you. Now, many of us Chronic Babes work from home or work part-time from home or do consulting when we can or work, hourly jobs that we can do from a computer at home. And that makes sense for a lot of us because we need flexible schedules. That's a big part of why I went out on my own originally 12 years ago. It's been a while. And a big part of it was that I wanted to be able to manage my own schedule and build cushions into projects so I could take off if I had a flare-up and do all the things I needed to do to take care of myself while creating a living for myself. But that definitely requires some adaptations and a hella big amount of discipline. So I build a lot of things into my office and into my lifestyle that keep me going. So let's look at a few things. So I mentioned discipline. That is the first and probably the most important thing that you have got to do as a Chronic Babe with a home-based business. I mean, anybody with a home-based business needs discipline. We need even more. And that's because we have all these, it's like having a second job, to be sick. We have all these details to manage, this whole team of people, medications, exercise, treatments, rest breaks, all the things we need to do. So in a recent video, I talked about something, and I'll show you, I have this on my desk. This is my sacred practices list. Glare. So this is one of my new tools that I use for managing my day-to-day process and making sure that I'm building in all those healthy practices I need to do every day to keep myself well. And so that if you go back and look at a recent video about sacred practices, you'll see that I talk about the whole process. But in short, it's basically sitting and getting quiet and determining what the best and most important things are that we do every day to make sure we are the best Chronic Babes we can be, and then writing them out, framing them, putting them on my desk like I do in my bathroom and in my bedroom to remind myself of all the things I need to do day to day that are just, they are like must complete on my task list. So I wanted to start by showing you that I do have that in my office and I read it every day, multiple times a day, and try to do my best to follow it. Now, how do I build that into my schedule? I have a couple different approaches. The reader asked, do I have a very set schedule all the time, or am I flexible? I'd say both. There are certain things I build time into my schedule for every day. So I get up at the same time pretty much every day, and I have a morning routine that I follow every day that incorporates a lot of the things in that sacred practices list. I never skip it. I just don't, because I know I'm going to feel like shit if I do. And so this is where discipline starts to come in. I have built that into my schedule, and I do those things every day. I meditate, I heat my back, I stretch, I drink a lot of water, I have a cup of tea, I have a healthy smoothie, I pray. I do all those things just to set up my day for success. Even when I'm not feeling well, I do all those things because I know that they'll help me get better faster. And then when it comes to scheduling my day, I try to build stuff in week to week that I know I have to do each week and each day, but then I also build in chunks of downtime because that's what I have to do. And so sometimes even on my iCal, I will have an appointment that says downtime or a break. So I tend to schedule everything and chunk it out. And I actually do that in iCal on my computer. You can do it in Outlook or whatever you use too, but so that I can move those things around too. So let's say I have a client project, I think I need to do 3 hours on it today. I'll make a chunk for that. But then if I have a flare up and I know I have a long-term cushion in the project, I can take that 3-hour chunk and move it to tomorrow. Now, I don't like to do that very often, but organizing myself in that way, chunking out my time in those pieces, really helps me have the ability to quickly look at my schedule and shift things around when I need to, which is really important. Another thing I do in my physical space is I am set up ergonomically. I have this trusty chair I've been sitting on for 12 years. Maybe it's time for a new chair, but I don't know. I love it. It was a big investment, but totally worth it. I have an ergonomic footrest. I have a sit-stand desk that can raise or lower so that I can work sometimes on my feet and sometimes standing up, which is better for my back. I've made a lot of investments over the years in the furniture that I need to do that, and also in spending time with an occupational therapist and physical therapist to get recommendations on how to build out my office space in all the different places I've lived. I've lived in 5 places the time I've done ChronicBabe, so my office has been different every time. But I take steps to be as ergonomically correct as possible. You'll also notice from some of the pictures I'm showing you that I have a lot of trinkets and reminders in my office that keep me feeling my best emotionally. So I have a painting hanging above my desk that was from one of my ChronicBabes who I met when I very first started. Her name is Krista Barnell, and she's an artist. And one of my friends came over and she said it's like an angel is looking over you while you work. And I didn't even think about that when I hung that in the office in this home of mine now. But it is true. It does make me feel like I'm being watched over in a very wonderful, loving way. I also have cards and mementos and things that ChronicBabes have given me over the years, because that's just a great reminder for me to help me remember what my mission is and how much I'm able to help people. So even on my down days, I get inspired. I have, my college degree hanging up. I have a poem that I really like that's really weird and inspirational. I have my vision board. I have a picture of me when I was 13 and kind of crazy, because it just reminds me to keep being crazy. So you can see that I fill my office with all kinds of inspirational, positive things that keep me going. The last recommendation I have just in this video, because I could go on forever, for us ChronicBabes working from home, is sometimes you just got to get out of your office. So as lovely as my office is, sometimes you got to get out. So I do go and work in cafes. I have other friends who have offices. I sometimes go to their offices and work. I might co-work with somebody at their house. Sometimes if a client needs me to come on site, I will. Or if I have a client who can meet me out for lunch and we can have a meeting that way, that's ideal. A lot of my clients aren't in Chicago, so I never meet them in person, but I try to get out as much as I can, because staying inside all day can be a bummer and it can be really isolating. We already tend to deal with some isolation issues as ChronicBabes, so compounding that with working from home is not good. And trust me, I learned that at the beginning. It's really best to get out of the house and have a lot of networking time with people. Even if it's just 5 minutes a day, it makes a huge difference in my mindset. Okay, this is like such a short little burst. I mean, I've been in business for 12 years. It's hard to condense all my stuff into 7 minutes, but this is a good start, I think, for anybody who's thinking about starting a home-based business. If you're chronic illness or you've been doing one and you're not feeling like your setup is all that great, I hope this has shown you some of the things I do, and this is part of a continuing series that I'll be running for a while on business and chronic illness. So thanks for a great question. All right, that's what I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, babes. If you ever have a question, please shoot me an email. You can go to chronicbabe.com and contact me through the site, or you can email me at chronicbabe@gmail.com and send me your question for AWAP Wednesday, because I love answering your questions. Did you like this video? Then please like it on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or whatever, and share it with your friends. You never know who you might be helping, so pass it around. And while I've got you here, I would love to remind you that the ChronicBabe newsletter comes out every week. It's free. When you sign up, you get a honkin' big PDF toolkit from me about how to live awesomely in spite of illness. And you'll be the first to know about all kinds of new programs I offer. Our Secret Club subscription program is rocking and rolling. People are loving it. And I'm opening it up for a bigger audience now. So if you're interested, just head over to chronicbabe.com and definitely sign up for the newsletter. I don't want you to miss out. And I have a book coming out in a couple months, and I don't want you to miss announcements about that either, because I'm going to have some contests and specials and all kinds of stuff. All right, babes. I hope you have a great week. Go out there and kick ass, take names, and all while taking good care of yourself and having a sense of humor about it. All right, be AWAP. Mwah.